This video explores the use of attribute properties. We will continue using the Velocity Terminals database. Right now there are several attributes for the tank template. In this video, we are going to assign attribute properties for specific use cases. The first attribute property is configuration item. The capacity attribute for the tank is considered as a constant that represents an inherent property for the tanks at Velocity Terminals. The value will always be the same except for a change in the equipment itself. Capacity changes should require a check-out and check-in sequence in AF. To implement this, open the Velocity Terminals database in System Explorer and navigate to the tank template in the library. The capacity attribute is a constant and falls under the configuration item property. Select the capacity attribute, then from the configuration pane, select configuration item under properties. Check in the change. Now verify when a change is made to the capacity attribute. The element is denoted with a change and requires a check-in. Navigate to Elements in the Navigator pane, then traverse the hierarchy to Tank 01. It's located under Locations and then Montreal. Change the capacity from 20,000 to 22,000. Notice that Tank 01 element has been checked out. It is marked accordingly in the Asset Tree view. If you select the Tank 01 element in System Explorer, the status line displays the details of the checked out item. At this point, the change can be accepted, checked in, or rejected, undo checkout. This was one of the requirements given to us from the plant management to prevent unnecessary changes. We will accept the changes. To accept the changes made to the capacity attribute, a check-in is required. The next property we're going to cover will be excluded. Only the first tank in every location of Velocity Terminals, that's for Montreal, Sydney, and Tokyo, has a dedicated night shift operator. Add attributes with the operator's names, which should only exist for tank 01, 5, and 8. In the tank template, add an attribute named Night Shift Operator and make it a string. Give the attribute a default value of Bob. This will add the Night Shift Operator to all tanks using the tank template. Check in the changes. Navigate to Elements in the Navigator pane. Then perform an attribute search for the Night Shift Operator under Locations. Enter Night Shift Operator to the attribute name. Then select Locations from within the attribute search by selecting the ellipse to the right of the search route. Press Search, then OK. Select all tanks to return them from the search. Only 3 of the tanks have a night shift operator. Right now, we're going to work with the other tanks. We're going to start by excluding tanks 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, and 10. Start working through the tanks individually, or multiple rows can be selected with the Control or Shift key. And update the night shift operator for the tanks without a night operator. Select Properties and set Excluded. Click OK. The change applies to all selected attributes. Now change the name for the first tanks in Tokyo and Sydney. Click on Check-in. Select the tank elements individually and observe what is displayed for the night shift operator. For all but tank 1, 5, and 8, excluded should be in the property field. Current attributes for tank 02 lists night shift operator as excluded. To eliminate showing excluded from the individual tanks where we've set it to excluded, it is necessary to update the display properties of elements. Under Tools, Options, select General, and uncheck the Show Excluded Attribute option. Click OK. Select the tanks individually again and observe what is displayed now for the night shift operator. Tank 2, after updating this display option, shows no attribute named night shift operator. The next property that we're going to cover is the hidden property. The tag naming convention for process variables at velocity terminals is the abbreviation .pv at the end of the tag name. The abbreviation should be defined in an AF attribute, but the attribute should not appear in any Pi visualization tools or in the Pi System Explorer searches. The PV code is set up to help during the creation of the Pi tag creation or lookup. As this attribute is an intermediate, it's unnecessary to any end users. Let's mark it as a hidden attribute. Check in the changes of the new attribute. Notice that the PV code attribute is marked with a hidden. It looks like a magnifying glass with an X next to it. Navigate to Elements in the Navigator pane. Perform an attribute search for all attributes using the tank template that start with the letter P. Notice PV code is not returned. There are numerous attributes that start with a P, but none include the PV code displayed. Those are the three properties that we've covered in this video. It's hidden, excluded, and configuration item.